Hello everyone, in this video we want to talk about the generate and send batch invoices in the Microsoft Excel. This software is developed in Excel via VBA, and if you open this file for first time you may see a yellow ribbon here that asks you to enable the editing. So if you want to use this Excel file you have to enable the editing. Also, you may see another yellow ribbon to asking to enable the macros. Because this software is developed via VBA macros, you need to enable the content of the VBA as well. Afterward, you can use this software. This software is specifically developed for generating the batch documents and then send them to the people. So it can be the invoice, which we developed the template for that here, or it can be another document that you need to define the contents of your documents here, and then you need to have your raw data because your document may change between the peoples, and then you want to save them as a PDF file in your system, and these PDF files will be saved in the folder that you specified here in the setting in this address, as you can see. Before starting to go through the details of this software, let's see how it works. At first, let's remove the PDF root folder because it will be different for you and me. So first, when you press on the generate invoices, it asks you, do you want to send the email as well? It means that you want to send the PDF files via email to your customer or not. If you press on the no button here, just the PDF files will be generated and will be saved. But if you press on the yes button, the software will use Outlook software to send the email. So I press on the yes button, and because I do not have any folders defined in here, it asks me where you want to save your PDF files. I just, for example, come here and select my invoice archives. You can use whatever folder you want. Press on the OK button, and then the software starts generating the PDF files. You should wait until to see the done message. I test this software for 1000 invoices, and it takes around 20 to 30 minutes for 1000 different PDF files, and it is a reasonable timing because generating the PDF and saving them in the folder and then sending the email to the customer can consume lots of time, and it's way better to doing that by hand. So after you see the done message, you can press on the OK button. Also, you should note that you need to have the Outlook be open. So let me open the Outlook. You should have some email added to your Outlook, and when you open your Outlook you can see it's start sending the message. So it's better to your Outlook be open before you press on generating invoices. And if you want to know how you can add your email address to your Outlook, you should go to the file, in the account setting you need to press on the new email address and then add your own email. It can be Gmail, Yahoo Mail, or your company email. So it's up on you. And after you see, for example, let me go to my sent data. You can see all my invoice PDF file are sent from my Diaco account to my Gmail address, my own Gmail, because I define my own Gmail email address in the raw data for all of them. And also you can see the email statuses here. This is for previous one, this is for the last email I sent. So I can see how many emails I sent. In the total is 5. The first one is the email status, and the 5 done thing I have here, and it says the email is sent to the armin.keshavarzi at the Gmail. So something other than the done message in the email status, you should note that the email is not sent to the customer, maybe because of the wrong email address here. So now let's see where the PDF files are saved. Let's go to our invoice archives in my desktop. You can see here in my invoice archives, I have one folder for the year 2050. It's because I just have data for the date 2050 here. No, sorry, here. Invoice date 2050. And I have all these data for month 1. So if I go to the 2050, I can see there is one folder for month 1. If you have more month, and one folder for each month, and in each month you will have folder for each day. So for example, here I have days 1 and 2 and 4. So I have a folder for day 1, 2 and 4. In each folder I have their related invoice. So for example, I have 2 invoices for day 2. So let me open one of them to see how it's look like. And you can see the invoice have one item here. And let's see other invoices. For example, in the day 4, I have 2 invoices with the same invoice number, but have 1 and 2 added to end of their invoice number. So the first one, all the items are 11 items are filled for this one for Lalakbari, and the exceeded one, which are more than 11, is added to the another invoices. All these 2 invoices are sent to Lalakbari as well, but we just send 2 invoices. So this is how you can use the generate invoices. Now let's go to the details of this software, how we can design our template, define our raw data, and then define or setting the relation between the template and the raw data to prepare it to generate invoices or your documents. And you can use that for all many times you want and for all many documents you want. You just need to copy paste the Excel sheet, for example, one for invoice, one for other documents, or for other things you want to use it. So at the first you need to define your template. It can be invoice, as you can see we have right now, or it can be any document you want to have. You can simply just remove all these data in this invoice template and then develop your own document. We have our company logo. We can have our company, for example, website link. We can have or company name, and for example address, it can be here as a company address here. Let me format paint it here, and I can write my address here as well. So these are on you. You can simply just write your company information, and also you can have some empty fields. For example, here in invoices, I need to define who I bill to this invoice. These are my customer information who purchased from me, and I need to fill the information who I send these items. So this information can be written here. As you can see right now, these are empty because we need to fill these empty cells by using raw data, and these data will be changed based on each customer, based on each invoices. So these empty fields will be filled based on the raw data. I just need to define where I should put these raw data in my template. For in my template, I define these bill to and ship to. I define the date, invoice number, ship date, and how I send my invoice. And also in the invoice, I need to write the description of the goods that customer purchased from me, the quantity he or she bought from me, the unit price, and the amount. All these can be changed based on your needs. So these are just simply a template, an example. You can use this template if it's okay with you, or you can change them. And also you can have formula as well in your invoice. So this is the formula I told here. If there is something written here, the item number is 1. If something is written here, the item number is 2. It's just a simple if function. I said if this is not empty, fill the number 1 here, and number 2, number 3, until the 11 that fills my invoice. And at the end of my invoice, I have some notes here that can be changed based on each invoices, which are all defined in my raw data. We have VAT as well. The VAT can be simply the number that need to be added to the total invoice. So here I have the total, which is simply summation of all my sold items multiplied to 1 plus VAT. So the VAT here are defined at something between 1 to 0. Let me see, where is the VAT here? It's 20%, because in the UK all the items VAT is 20%. But I may sold something in the UK, may sold them in another country, so the VAT can be changed based on the invoices. But if they are not changed, I can simply remove the VAT. I can just simply add them here by my own 20%. You can rename the sheet name as well. For example, I do not want to use it as an invoice template. I can just name it as a template. This is all up on you. And also you can have a merged cells as well. You need to note that when you want to have the merge cells, you should have it in this constant cells. But in the items, which are the variable, we can have merged columns, but we cannot have merged rows. So here I can have merged rows because these are constant, because the VBA code needs to add items in the invoice in the ordered manner, the first row, the second row, and until the last row. So we cannot have merged rows here. We cannot merge 2 rows together, but we can merge columns. Here in the constant, which we just have 1 information per invoice, we can have merge rows as well. So after you develop your document template that need to be generated as a PDF and send them via email to the people, you need to define the relation of the template and the raw data columns in the setting. So in the setting, we have 2 parts. The first part is just 3 fields, which are general fields. The first one I told you is the PDF root folder, which is the folder that we need to save the PDF files there. The 2 other fields are for emailing to the people. So the email subject and the email body can be written here. This is the email subject, and this is the email body that I want to show to the customer people in the email body of the email. So after that, you need to define how many items you have per invoice or per document. So what I meant by items, I meant how many items that need to be added to some document automatically. These are our constant fields that We do not need, for example, add more than one customer in one invoice. We just have one person who is billed to, and we just have one person who received this invoice or document. But we have multiple items that this person purchased from us. For example, here in my data, I can see the person name as a Dariush Akbari purchased 8 items from me, and all these 8 items should be added to one invoice automatically. So this is the number that define me what is my invoice limitation for adding items there. This 11 number is because we have just 11 rows in my invoice. It can be changed based on your template. So after you redesign your invoice, you may have more rows. For example, you may have 20 rows. So you just need to come here and tell us there is 20 limitation for one invoice. What will happen if one person buys more than this limitation? For example, in our raw data, Lala Akbari here bought 40 items from us. This is more than 11 limitation here we have. So in this case, our software will generate one invoice for 11 items and another invoice with the same invoice number for exceeded items that this person bought. And the first invoice and the second invoice all to have one invoice number, but we'll add number 1 and 2 at the end of the PDF name. So for Lala Akbari, we will have this name as the invoice, and for invoice 1 we add underline 1, and for invoice 2 we have underline 2 added name to the PDF. We will see that when we generate our PDF files. I also write this description here as a note, so this is just a note. And after you define these, you can come and define the relations. So at first you can note that there is all fields that are defined in the raw data should be written here. These are not important, that these are all can be changed based on your needs. So for example, someone just remove all of them, add something, for example here, or remove this one, or for example it has some other things. So he or she should come and add those fields here, or remove that one that he or she removed previously. So he or she need to redesign this setting based on the template and the raw data. Just you need to note that we have 3 fields that you should not change some things here. I write the notes here, and the cells color is gray. So let's talk about these fields as first. The first one is order ID or invoice number. You can change the name of this if you want something you wanted, but you should not change the row 8. So you should not change this one to the last one. This is the row, this is the field that the software can understand each invoices. For example, here all these invoice number should be added to just one invoice, and the software can understand that via this first row. But you can change, for example, the cell in the invoice. The cell in the invoice means that the order ID should be picked up from the column A here. It should pick up here and then put it here in the invoice number. And as you can see, this is the merge cell. When you have the merge cell, you need to define just the first cells of this merge cells in the settings. So this is the I-19. These cells, the first cell is I-19. So I read So I write the I-19 here. And the position of the raw data is the column A. So I can change them, for example, to column B or whatever, for example, C20. It's up on you. And also you should not have empty cells between of your data in the column that named as the for row 8 or the row ID. So here, because our software will go through all of these data and will be stopped at the first empty cells, because this is the way we know how many data you have. So you should not have empty cells in your order ID column, which can be column A, B, or whatever column you use. So this is the first row you need to be careful of then, and you need to define that. The others, for example, invoice date and the customer email. These should have exactly invoice date and these should be exactly invoice date and the customer email dictation, because based on the invoice date I can understand how I should organize the PDF files. So I use the invoice date to organize the PDF files. And based on this customer email, I can know which column I should use to send email. What is the email person? But you are able to, for example, change the position of these cells. For example, I want to have this cell at the end of my setting table. I am able to change the position if I wanted to, and I can define the cells of the invoice here and the column of my raw data here. So this is up on you. I just Control Z them. So the thing that you need to note is that you should not change the dictation of this invoice date and the customer email. And as you can see, for example, in the invoice date, I told the software the position of the cell in my invoice is G19. So in my template, the date here is G cells G19, which is the first cell of my merged cells. And the position of the invoice date is column C in the raw data. So column C here is my invoice date. So and for customer email, you can see I have no position for my template, but I should define the column in the raw data. So if you have some data in your setting that you do not want to show to the customer, you can make it an empty, and you can define the column row if you need to do some calculation. But for example, here customer email have no position in my invoice because I do not want to show them their email. But if you want to show them, for example, if I want to show them here my customer email here, I can tell that it should be in the J10, and I can, for example, merge it and say customer email. And then I need to go to my setting and say that the position of the customer is G10. So this is how you can have or not have anything in or invoice. Let me remove them. So these are the gray cells, but for the white cells you are able to do whatever you want. You can remove them, simply remove them. You can change the name, or you can add something, or you can remove all of them and then add your own fields here. So it's all up on you. I just Control Z to have my own. So these are the white cells. Also, you have to define the type of the cell. You have constant and the variable. So the dictation is important. So if you want to, for example, add something here, you need to define the exact dictation, constant, or its variable for the second one. So you need to copy paste or write exactly the same these two words. You should note that these are important because this is the way that I can understand this food is constant and it will not change based on the items. And in the variables I can understand if I add something here, I need to add another one for the same invoice in the second row, in the third row until the end of my space in the invoice. Also, when you define the variable field here, you just simply need to define the first cell of these variables. So for example, in the item description, I said that the first one is D22, quantity is DK22, unit price is M22, and amount is M22. So it means that my items will start from row 22. And the description, the first one, the first cells of the merge cell is D22, the quantity is K22, unit price is M22, and the amount is O22. The item is formula here, the item number, so I do not need to tell where is it in my invoice template. And also here, when you open the Excel file, you may see the invoice template is out of the page. When you see that, this is because of difference of monitor size. You just simply need to make it a little bit smaller. The last column, the P column actually, you make it a little bit smaller until it goes back to the page. Right, like here, like this. And also, if you want to see the Excel as the normal view, you just need to come here and select this one. It will go back to the Excel normal views. And if you want to see the grid lines, you can checkbox this one to see the grid lines of the Excel. So let me get back to my own view. Okay, so this is the view of template. And so these are all things that you need to know to prepare your documents or your invoice and raw data. Afterward, you are enabled to use generate invoices. The clear raw data is the thing that enables you to clear all the data here for using it for another data. So for example, let me press on the clear data. You can see all the data here are clear, and the fields in the first row is still here, and it should be noted that these are all will be clear as well and rewritten based on the fields right here. So raw data will be deleted and this row will be written again based on these. So this is all the thing you need to know for using this software. This is so simple, and you just need to design your template for one time and use it for many times to sending invoice or documents to many peoples. I just test this for 1000 invoices. It just take 30 minutes to generate PDF files, organize them, and then send them email. So this is way much better for doing these all by hand. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped you a lot. In order to watch more training videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Diako Ltd. And if you want to see our products, please visit our website, diako.co.uk.